Greetings, fellow base builders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Inquest of the Dead. Episode 13, Enclosing Our Compound. So before I start, I did make some changes to the scenario. Small ones, but significant ones. I changed the frequency of the larger shambler assaults. Initially, in the start of this series, the assaults were like just a few shamblers, 5 or 10. And now they're becoming more like 20 to 30. And having them come like multiple times a day was just too much of a drain. It also kind of makes sense that they're starting to build up in numbers and come less frequently. So the amount of shamblers we're getting hasn't really changed. It's just they come less frequently in bigger hordes, which I would argue is more challenging anyway. So that's one change I made to the scenario file. So let's continue with our goals. What we want to do is we want to convert Scorp. And I was sort of planning on converting Scorp the peaceful way by doing conversions and conversion rituals, if possible, rather than imprisonment. A sort of conscription, if you will. Another thing I was planning on doing is creating a wall here to wall off the wind turbine area so that the overhead of the wind turbine area doesn't affect us trying to roof up the rest of everything else. As a little reminder, we are... let me lower the volume, I guess. Only because it's fine. We're trying to roof up a lot of this inner courtyard area here in order to allow us to have a enclosed inner courtyard. And the benefit of that will be that corpses inside our walls would not resurrect, which is pretty useful, I think. And that project continues with Kadath. Maybe not a marble column. Let's actually change that over to granite. That project continues with Kadath building columns around our base, and then walls here to wall up the wind turbines. One of the big projects I want to take on as soon as a few more of the burn boxes are complete is to build a sanctuary. Our colonists are calling for it. They're asking for one, and that is going to be a mental drain on us if it is not addressed. So that's definitely something I want to address before it goes unanswered. Which is the building a faithful chancel and a soul's sculpture. So let's go ahead and drop a art bench here to facilitate making the soul's sculpture. Another thing I wanted to do is move the packages of rival meals. I'm just going to move them out here. I realize it's completely filling up the butchery zone. And that doesn't really make any sense. Because then the butchery zone doesn't function as a butchery zone. Alright. Another thing to note is Good here has 16% of her recon armor left. So pretty soon we're going to be faced with wearing tainted armor as a requirement because her current armor is falling apart. Now we had wanted to open up this Ancient Dangers casket, and I intend to. We just have to wait for the right time when we have the capacity to take on more people. We don't know if the person in there is hostile or not, so we need to prepare to deal with a potentially hostile occupant and the responsibilities and whatever that result from that. Another thing is, as we are columning up our farm area, the pollux trees will cease to function. Pollux trees, kind of like anima trees, don't like buildings near them. So as soon as we build this column, this pollux tree will need to be replanted elsewhere. And the really only risk to them is fire. So we should plant it somewhere where it's not likely to catch fire. There's not a lot of enemy types that will try to actively set it on fire, so that's like not too hard to facilitate, I don't think. Carl's 10 prisoners? Yeah, no, forget it. I don't even care what the reward is. Just not gonna happen. I don't need to look at that to know that in no situation could we host that many. So what I would like to do is finish this burn box. I'm not going to complete this one just yet. I'm going to work on the chancel after this burn box is done. So taking a look at the work overlay, there's another thing I wanted Good to do. I'm going to have Good temporarily pause on deep drilling. And because there are no shamblers around this metal, the steel down here, I'm going to prioritize digging this up because we are almost out of steel. And it's going to be important for us to amass more of it. Raven Bear, thank you for all the gifted subs. Holy cow. And then Penguin Eddie and Destroy the Road for the resubs. Tall Paul for the cheer and resub 2 and Big Ounce Gaming. Cheers. I made that coffee hot. Maybe it'll cauterize my throat. That'd be a thing. One of the things we can do with all this new steel is to build tool cabinets in order to accelerate the workbenches around them. All right, looking good. So Kadath is finishing up the northern burn box. I had a few questions on YouTube about why I'm using 2 zones. So it's probably worth explaining why that is. Because we want to store both dead animals, fresh humans, and dead humans. Or like rotten animals, rotten humans, and fresh humans, we would need 2 zones. Because there was a bunch of people confused why there's 2. So because of these toggles, the way these toggles work, a zone can either be for rotten, fresh, or both. But I can't do fresh and rotten humans and rotten animals. You can't combine the 2. It's one or the other, requiring 2 separate zones. Because human raiders that are alive and die are fresh, but will still revive, and we don't want to have to kill them twice. So I need 2 zones to allow for that. Alright, I'm going to get blowback operation next for research. One of the things I intend to do is to get gun turrets, only so that we can have some, like, fallback. When our walls are breached, if we had turrets right behind the walls, it buys us time. Even if we know the turrets are going to get destroyed. Because in the time it takes for the shamblers to destroy the turret will explode, harming the shamblers, sacrificing the turret and buying us time to rally a response to the threat. Which is why I think it's helpful. And Ravenberry, thank you for the resub, and Joker for all the gifted subs. Cheers. Oh, and the cheer. Oh my god. Thank you, Raven Bear. So Scorp might have a mental break soon. The mental break, if you're wondering, is he is not of our ideology. So almost all of the mood modifiers that are pending for him are a result of him being of a different ideology. And there's really nothing we can do about that besides converting him, which is what we're going to do. So Gdathir is very close to having this northern burn box done. I wanted to remove the flooring underneath it so that there wasn't a speed boost modifier, because we don't need speedy zombies. That doesn't sound very good. Alright. Good down here is getting lots of steel. Plenty for that, the toolboxes, the tool benches, rather. Gaming Poppy, thank you for the sub, too. And, here we go. Now that this Pollux tree has a column too close, it will no longer function as a Pollux tree. So let's go ahead and relocate it. So taking a look at the fertility overlay, or maybe even terrain affordance, I'll put it like here. Somewhere around here. Because the idea is, as the Pollux tree absorbs the pollution around this area, we can very easily move waste packs to this spot to decay to fill the pollution back in, but to remove it from the areas we don't want it. And what's important here is that this happens soon, because Pollux trees will die after about a week if you don't relocate. Can it fit between the windmills? No, a windmill is a structure. If you're wondering if it can fit here, no. It needs to be significantly farther. Where did I put the... Oh, I redid that, yeah. Okay, because of the question. All right, let's just put this down here. Now, the reason I'm picking this area is, like, shamblers almost never wander in this spot. It's very rare for them to wander. And it's also completely surrounded by stone. So, fire isn't naturally going to spread here from, like, a firestorm or something like that. And I can even put a home zone on top of it to alert me if it's ever on fire. I'm not worried, in other words. It's a pretty good spot, and it's going to absorb pollution there for us. It also means that the rest of this growing area will have to be cleaned up by hand, which is fine. I am not going to resow the tea fields, because we're going to end up with so much tea, it's ridiculous. And in fact, I'll even put a little shelf here for tea. Now that we actually have some tea, let's do the drug policy of tea and beer, so that people can drink tea for mood. Scorp's on a minor break. Yep, that's fine. It looks to me like the incinerator that was up here burned up. I definitely don't... Here, I can search for it. 0 found. Okay, so there's no longer an incinerator. Got it. That's fine. I figured that would be the case. So it in no way surprises me. Alright, we're getting the tool cabinets up. The stone cutter table is going to get speedier, and then we'll get the art bench for the Souls sculpture. Blow blacker operation is done. Let's go ahead and get gun turrets. I'm gonna have to stay really busy with all the construction tasks, which, you know, makes sense. He's a busy dude. Let him work. So there's... Ooh, how many shamblers? 91 shamblers on the map tile. All I need is for every single person to kill like 12 and we'll be alright. This is a joke. That'd be a tall order. So I think what I'll do is like cut this stuff because I don't intend to do it to actually harvest it. So we'll just get rid of it. Oh, and there we go. Here's an assault. 16, 9, and I don't even know because they mixed in. Scorp, I'm going to leave you out of this fight because you are the most moody. Good's armor should last for this fight, but she's going to need to switch armor at the end of this fight to something tainted. Because I don't think a 16% armor is going to last long enough. I think that would be a reasonable assumption. Ah, that's not what I wanted you to do. So what I want is... Oh, can you stop, kill, skip, automatic? Thank you. Is to rely more on the shooters so that they both can build their skills and that Good doesn't get as injured as frequently, and also that Good armor doesn't wear out as quickly either. So Sun Tzu, you're going to hang behind on this one, and we're going to head west. Sun Tzu's hanging behind to clear the dead. There was some YouTube comments asking me about Molotov cocktails, whether they would be helpful in clearing the dead bodies, and my answer is no. You cannot queue up multiple bodies like this to be destroyed by Molotov cocktail, because Molotov cocktail will just throw on the ground in one spot forever if you try to queue up multiple orders. So for that reason, and that reason alone, burning bodies one by one is far more efficient because I can queue them up and then just like continue on with not having to micromanage each individual Molotov cocktail throw, which would be ridiculously tedious. Come on. I beckon thee. And if you know anything about me, ridiculous levels of tedium is something like I'm happy to try to avoid. So this is definitely one of those cases where having a turret, because obviously we're having a breach here in a second, having a turret would be really helpful, because all of these shamblers would then aggro to the turret, and we could easily clear them. The other thing that we could consider, maybe not inside our base because of the farm, is if we did end up with turrets, you can put like an incendiary IED around the turret. And the advantage of that, of course, is like the shamblers will group up around the turret, pop an incendiary IED, and that fire will then harm the shamblers and keep them off of continuing to destroy the turret, or at least slow them down. So there's some bonus designs that we can maybe implement in the future. But let's go ahead and respond to the shamblers inside. And then Sun Tzu's going to finish off this shambler and then start burning the others. And Scorp is fine. As long as Scorp is inside, I'm actually going to forbid the doors for a moment. He shouldn't have any problems with the shamblers that are coming in. Now, these shamblers are still technically classified as outside, so they will need to be hauled to this burn box. And the other thing we're going to have to worry about with the burn box is long rot risk, because there's going to be a lot of corpse petulant gas. So we'll have to consider that as a potential threat to us going forward. Getting better organs, lungs, etc. will help. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is high priority haul everyone so that they can haul the corpses where they need to go. And then we'll just like patch the walls and call it good. Let's see. Oh, good. We found granite underneath there. I was hoping. So now the stonecutter table and the drill are next to one another, and we have granite in the area. Oh, don't set yourself on fire. Hey, Wombat and Ugovin, thank you for the resubs. Alright, Kadath, just use a little bioferrite. Speed up the process a little bit. But as you can see here, because they're desiccated and it's inside, they are not actively rotting. And they won't resurrect because they're not under the Great Pall. Okay. Yes. I think they're all set. So I'm going to change the work priorities back to normal. I do expect Scorp to have a mental break here in a second. I don't intend to do anything about it. I'm not going to give him like special treatment. He is not of our ideology. He should have a mental break until he joins us in full. So this burn box is done. I'm going to put a pause to the burn box right now. And the priority is going to be convert Scorp and build a sanctuary. And I think all the shambler corpses that were immediately around our base have been dealt with, if I'm not mistaken. So now that we have the art bench, I'm going to go ahead and make a Souls sculpture. I'm going to make the Souls sculpture out of jade. And Sun Tzu will be responsible for making it once we have the jade. No. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to make it out of marble. Because he doesn't have a lot of practice making art, so I don't want to waste my jade that way, because chances are it's not going to be very good. So, we're going to cut marble blocks, and I'm going to plan out a sanctuary. So one of the reasons why I want a sanctuary is we can mentor new psycasters. Basically, I can have Good, who's high enough level, train other people in our community to also psycast, which is going to be incredibly useful. So, you know, I don't even need it there. Put a bridge. I don't even know where I'm going to need the column. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to remove the old bridge and replace a lot of it with heavy bridge. Tantrum. Smashing things in his room. Okay. Alright, now that gun turrets is done, I'm going to research advanced lights for the floodlight. Because we are light lovers, and let's get some light in our base. You know what? I'll go the other path. Do religious statues actually have quality? That's a good point. They actually don't. Let's do Jade then. I like your point. Don't break the beds. That was weird. He started punching here, which is not his room. Sometimes it just be like that. Alright, there it goes. Catharsis. And he didn't do too much damage. Shamblers approach. Contains Gorehulks too, not a problem. They will be passing through, so we have to keep an eye on where they're going. All right. And I'm hoping that Kadath gets... Oh, Sloan. Let's not sleep there. Might need to change some scheduling around. So a lot of this is just because they get drafted and then their sleep cycle gets thrown off. Psychic Droner for male. Okay. Female is a lot more dangerous for us, so male's fine. Female's more dangerous because Kud's sensitivity is quite high. Okay, he's already started work. Perfect. Good's almost done with the steel that I wanted to mine up. With that said, this group of shamblers might filter into her work area before too long, so I have to keep an eye on that to make sure that, if anyone can handle her themselves, it would be her. Oh, speaking of which, her armor is down to 11%. So I'm going to have her mine up the rest of this steel, haul a portion of it back to the base, and then throw on this tainted armor. I can't do better than tainted armor for now. No, I will eventually open up the Ancient Dangers, but I want to get the Sanctuary up as a higher priority. It's going to cause some problems in our community if we don't get one. Alright, Advanced Lights is done. Now that we have Advanced Lights, I can leave it up to you guys what to research next. We got gas operation, watermill generator, Royal Peril, shuttle. I think you had voted for shuttle, but I'm going to pull on it again anyway. Turret pack. The real advantage of the turret pack is it's going to be pretty useful to drop one if we are at a position or we get, like, chased by shamblers. Hunter drone is another useful anti-shambler utility weapon. I know I could build a Grand Pen scanner. I just have other things going on right now. We could also research sterile materials. And that will be the list for now. Okay, more shamblers approach. Looks like watermill generator is the popular option, so I'll queue it up for now. But I'll leave this up for 2.5 more minutes. Whatever wins, wins. Now that we have floodlights, I intend to put floodlights up around the base. And that will keep us a lot happier because we are light lovers. Wait, what? Oh, I was rotating. I was like, how is she working at a drill that hasn't been installed? But, okay, it was just a rotation thing. All right, looking good. I'm gonna start getting granite again. It does look like those shamblers are starting to come in on where the steel is, so I'm gonna try to haul a little bit more steel before I lose access to it. In fact, I'll even hit a speed boost on good and have her, like, grab a bunch. Grab it before we lose it, because we're about to lose access. Alright, and then changing the zoning to keep them away from those shamblers. Once the immediate construction projects are done, I will start planning the sanctuary. And the shamblers on the map tower are now up to like 120? 131. Got it. That's not sexy, but alright. Alright. Rascal, instead of cooking, I'm going to have you, because we have 138T, I'm going to have you start refining to clear up some of our stockpile. And Kadath is bringing the light. So we've created an entire loop here of power, and that's also going to help us with the gun turrets that we will potentially add as well. Now, one bill I haven't added to the smelter is smelting tattered stuff. Stuff that's like well beyond worth wearing. Which I should do at some point. I'm going to keep my people away from this corner, because obviously it's no longer safe. Those shamblers won't necessarily aggro us unless we get close. The other thing I'm going to have is... I'm planning on putting the sanctuary around here. So I'm going to have Angelia start to clear some of the stone around here to make way for it. Oh, much better. Now there is not a dark corner in the northern section, which is excellent. Sakura, let's continue to convert Scorp. Down to 30. Okay. Let's also drop a floodlight down here as well. No, have to be outside of it. Okay, let's drop it here. We don't want it too close to the Pollux tree to the point where the Pollux tree will have to be moved. Now, I do intend to put the sanctuary around here, meaning that the Pollux tree will eventually have to move regardless, but at least for now, we'll keep it there. So if Kadath is starting to work on repair jobs, it does mean that a lot of the other construction projects are done, which is good. Why don't we have granite yet? I guess I could tell Scorp, once hauling is done, to cut stone, but I think that's already his priority. So we have a watermill generator. The watermill generators are placed on the shorelines like this and generate power for the water that's inside of them. So if I want to really use watermill generators, either I have to build them outside of our perimeter like this, where they aren't impeding where our farms are. For now, I'm just going to keep that as like a weapon in my power arsenal, knowing that I can scale up my power with watermill generators, but I don't intend to build one just yet. I'll probably get around to it, but not at the moment. Oh, nice. Compacted machinery. Alright, let's change the allowed zone to not allow here either. These shamblers are passing through. I want to stay away from them. Is that fertile soil? Nah, it's mud. Soul's sculpture is done. Sweet. I have no good place to put it, because we don't have a sanctuary yet, but, you know, in time. And now the wind turbines are going to be walled off. So this is still technically outdoors, it seems. That is likely as a result of not having the columns that I wanted made. Which will happen soon. A hidden conduit broke. Okay. Oh, I saw that flirt. What'd you say? Sloan wooed good by comparing her to a breathtaking Aurora. Wow, minimal response for Aurora? I'm surprised. Okay, it's still technically outdoors, and we're waiting for it to say indoors, because once it's indoors, corpses won't rot in here, which is the ultimate goal, to prevent all corpse rot inside of our own walls. Yeah, it has a quality and it's poor. Oh well. Wasted jade. We'll have to replace it at some point. There was an attempt. Thank you for tuning in to Inquest of the Dead, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Inquisitors.